So Ample Sound have just released their new Ethno Banjo virtual instrument. I've only had it for a few hours, but I thought I'd give you guys my first impressions. Let's dive in. So here we are looking at this wonderful interface, and I should say up front that Ample Sound did send me this plugin so that I could show it to you guys. However, any opinions in this video are my own. I haven't been required to say anything at all. And anyway, this video is not really about my opinions. I'm just going to sort of demonstrate this to you, what I've learned about it so far in the last couple of hours or so. And you can come to your own opinions based upon what you hear and based upon what you see about how to operate this plugin. And I'll be happy to hear those in the comments down below. Now, I know the first thing you want to do is just hear how it sounds, right? We're going to get to that really, really quickly, but I do think I should explain something first. I believe with these plugins, it's not just about the plugin maker making a great sounding instrument which sounds authentic. It's about, if you want to get the best out of it, it's about you understanding how to use it to make it sound, in this case, like an authentic banjo, okay? That requires just a little bit of understanding about how a banjo is played, because if I just jump on here now and start playing some arpeggios on the keyboard, notice I pretend that I can do that. I can do some basic ones. It won't really sound like a banjo because there's a particular way it's played, which we'll get to later. But what I did before I made the quick demo that I'm going to show you now, which just lasts a few bars, is I went on YouTube this afternoon and actually followed some basic banjo playing tutorials, so that I could just get an idea of the kind of arpeggios and the way that they're normally played, the fingerings and all of that kind of stuff. So it's with that little bit of background that I'm going to play you this demo now so you can hear how this sounds. And hopefully you'll agree that this does sound like a banjo and that it's sort of a little bit authentic to the way a banjo is actually played. Let's have a listen then. Now, I promise you're going to hear some more sophisticated banjo playing a little bit later in this demo. That's just the sort of basics. It's probably, for me, because I don't sort of really produce like bluegrass music, if I wanted to have some banjo in my songs, which I occasionally do, something more simple like that is probably what I'm going to be putting in. Now, I did find as I was, let's say, programming that in, because it was mostly done with the piano roll. I played some of it real time, but it was mostly done with the piano roll. There's some hurdles to do with someone like Ample Sound making a plugin like this, a banjo specifically, and then as a user, me then using this. And it's to do with the way the banjo is tuned. So before we go into all of the little features, I think it's really important to understand this and then to look at how I overcame these issues in the little demo. So when we look at the interface here, I'm just going to use the mouse and I'm just going to play these 4 strings, okay, on the left-hand side here. These are the open strings, okay? Those are 4 open strings, and just like a guitar, the low strings, as we call them, they're the deepest strings, so they're lowest in pitch. They go there, and then as we move up, the strings get higher, yeah? Simple. That's those 4 strings, but this is a 5-string banjo, yeah? Now you'll notice as we move up to the 5th fret around here on a banjo, there's a 5th string that starts there. But the thing about it is when you play it open, it's not lower, it's higher. Yeah? So the open strings on the banjo go like this. Yeah, try again. So the way it's played is often that high note, that high G, is played actually with the thumb. That's a little bit unusual coming from a guitarist point of view. Normally, when we're playing with our thumb, we've got those low notes. Now, the real issue presents itself here because it's a key sort of part of the banjo sound, yeah, that note, especially in these sorts of keys like the key of G, that will kind of ring out, okay? That will often be like almost like a drone sort of sound, which is being played there as well. The issue with it is if we play it here, I'm going to play it now on my piano keyboard. You can see it gets played up there, but if I press it again, it gets played because it's up here, yeah, on this string, because that note can be played on 2 strings. So obviously the plugin is just alternating between the 2. If I go 1 note up, you can see, yeah, that both of these strings, the low and the high string, if you like, in terms of where they're positioned, not in pitch, play the same note at the same fret. So the issue with this is, how does the plugin know which fingering position or which string we mean when we're just pressing G on the keyboard, because we've only got that 1 note of G in that octave on the keyboard? It's a bit problematic, isn't it? But it's key to the way the banjo sounds. We need to let it know. So I know I'm waffling, but bear with me. Regular Amp-L-Sound users will know, and regular users of many virtual instruments will know, that often the way we do this is with the use of key switches. So this is how we tell this particular plugin which of these notes to play where, on what string. That makes sense. Now, normally this hasn't changed from this plugin to other Amp-L-Sound plugins, but it is key to understand it. So there's 2 different ways we can do it. One is to set the capo position, or the hand position, where we're generally playing. And we do that by pressing this low C sharp followed by another note somewhere. Okay, I'll just randomly do one. Well, not randomly, but you can see it moved up there to a different position. We'll do it again. You can see on the interface it's showing you which hand position we're in. Okay. So I'll go down to the lowest one there. That's where we'll be playing mostly open strings. So that's one way, by using key switches, that we can tell the plugin where to play. And the other way is we've got some other notes down here. You can see me playing them just down at the bottom there, which force a particular string. So when we play that and when we play a note, it's going to be forced to be played on a particular string if it can be played on that string. Okay, so that's the 2 ways in which we do that. We're also controlling other things, you know, whether we're playing something like just a regular note there, or whether it's muted. It could be things like harmonics, for example. Not that we do too much of that in banjo playing, I guess. And then the other thing is, you know, things like slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all that kind of stuff, you know. So we're going to be doing all that. So I'm just going to quickly play this demo again, but I want you to focus your eyes on these blue keys down here. Occasionally look at all the notes being played up here as well. And tell me if you, in the comments, if you really think that this could be done live. Well, I'm going to give you my answer. My answer is no, it can't be played live, not by me anyway. But I'm going to suggest that even a talented keyboard player like, for example, Ruben from Hi-Fi MIDI, check out his video on this, by the way, it's very good. He may just find this, you know, tricky. He's such a great player, but I think this would be tricky for a lot of people. Maybe he wouldn't find it too tricky because he is very talented. But so just be aware of that, okay? I think because it takes a lot of management. It takes a lot of management to get this to sound like a banjo and have it be playing in the right places. And so you're always having to manage, you know, which strings being used and which capo positions being used. That's my opinion anyway. It's not a negative of the plugin. I think that Amp-L-Sound have done a great job of overcoming this issue as best as can. And I don't know if I mentioned before, but I will mention again, a lot of the time it does seem to be reasonably intelligent as well. But as I say, you need to manage it. Okay, all of that is done. Let's just have a quick listen to some of the much better demos of this for really more authentic banjo playing. If we go over here to the riffer over here, let's just play this one here for a moment and have a listen to hear what can be done. Okay, so I won't play that all the way through. You know, when I look at this now, it really makes me realize that this riffer interface could be very, very powerful in terms of programming this instrument particularly, because it takes a lot of that sort of key switch management out of the equation, because on the Riffer you can specify the string right away which is being played on the note, all that kind of stuff. So really worth considering if you get hold of this plugin to really start to learn and understand the Riffer feature, which is in many, if not all, of the Amplsound plugins. Another thing that I want to show you is the tab over here. Here we've got a little piece loaded up here. Welcome to Banjo tab player. Let's have a listen to this one. This is again just going to give you a really good idea of what can be accomplished with this, what I think is a really great instrument. It's pretty good. I mean, if that was being played, I think a lot of people would not spot that that's not a real banjo. Okay. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Amplsound stuff, it's got a lot of the usual goodies that we have in there. We've got things like special effects. Here, up there, all of that good stuff that you'd expect there as well. I'm not going to go into all of that today. Interestingly, on this one, it's got these different sounds that you can get, these sound modes. Now, it says mono mode, bridge stereo, body stereo, neck stereo. I'm guessing from that these, because these don't have a pickup on it, that these are different mic positions. Okay, so let's go back to my simple little demo again. Let's have a quick listen as we had it before, which is the default on the bridge stereo. Let's have a listen. Now let's change it to body stereo. Nice, you can hear that subtle difference there. Neck stereo. I really like that. That's kind of really nice. It's sort of almost mellower sounding. And then mono, which I had listened to earlier, it actually sounds really good. If you really want to manage the where the position of your banjo is in your mix, I'd suggest put it in mono and then use panning and stuff in your DAW as usual. Up to you, but that's a good way to go. If we go across here, we also have the strummer. I haven't got into the strummer with this yet, but those of you, again, familiar with Amplsound instruments will understand that the strummer gives you the ability to play strumming patterns just with sort of single keys and things. Can get really, really good at times. I've already showed you, of course, the Riffer and then this tab view here where we can actually import tab to be played here as well. Cool stuff. And as per usual, we have things like these different special effects here, which are things like the compressor we have here, an equalizer, the echo, and also reverb as well. That's all normal stuff with Amplsound plugins. You should be familiar with that. We can do a few other things like change the look of the keyboard and all that good stuff as well. But I just wanted to give you that kind of basic overview of this instrument here. I think it's really cool. I'm certainly going to enjoy using it. I've actually got a new song which I'm going to be recording soon, releasing soon, which needs a banjo on it. So I'm super pleased to have this in my arsenal, and I'll tell you about that when that song comes out. So really nice. And check the links in the description down below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. And also make sure that you follow the link to my patreon.com, where for as little as $1 per month, you can help me help you by making more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next video.